Shaddai is the Sukkah, as is the Lamb. So the 8th day is the great day of the feast. It's the time to celebrate and rejoice because it points to the day when Yahshua and his Father are our tabernacle. We are continually under their care. We are continually under their governance. We are continually under their rule. We are continually under in their presence. And so in that day, then there is no more tabernacle, because the 8th day speaks of a new order. A new order. And what is that order? It's a new day. And in that day, because Yahshua is our tabernacle, and we dwell with him, and because the Father is our tabernacle, that's it. All things are culminated. Does that make any sense? You are with the Father. You enter into the Sukkah, and there's no more need of the 7 days, or Sukkot, because we've entered into the 8th day, eternity. Are you with me? I said, are you with me? Yes. Look at verse 23. And the city, the New Jerusalem, has no need of the sun or of the moon, for the esteem of Elohim lightens it, and the Lamb is the lamp. So in the millennium, will there be animal sacrifices in the millennium? Yes. In the millennium, will there be bulls and goats and Rosh Chodeshes and Moadim and Chagim? Yes, in the millennium. But there's an 8th day coming, that is after the millennium, when the resurrection of the lost takes place, after the Atid Lavo, and that's when the 8th day begins. And in the 8th day, are there sacrifices? No. Are there Rosh Chodesh? No, because there's no moon. Are there Moadim? No, because there's no sun. There's no moon. So the 8th day speaks of a day when all is Yahweh and Yahweh is all. So the Rosh Chodesh and the Moadim and the Shabbats will be celebrated through the Atid Lavo, through the millennium. Are you with me? But the 8th day, which is next Shabbat, by the way, next Shabbat, speaks of a time when there will be no Shabbat, no Rosh Chodesh, no sun, no moon, no tabernacles, no Sukkot. Why? Because Yeshua is our tabernacles. The Father is our tabernacles. And we won't need the temporal things. When Yahweh says an everlasting rule, what is he saying? Everlasting until the end of this age and the commencement of eternity. In eternity, there's no moon, there's no sun, there's no Rosh Chodesh. How can you have a Rosh Chodesh without a moon? Huh? No calendar, no Sukkot, no Shabbat. Why? Because the Lamb and the Father are our Shabbat, they are our Sukkot, and so the Torah will not be done away with. It'll just be, will be so encompassed with the fact that Yeshua is all and in all, and that's what the 8th day speaks of. Hallelujah. The 7th day of Sukkot speaks of the Atid Lavo, or the millennial kingdom yet to come. Okay, now let's go back now, if you would please, to the book of Yochanan. Yochanan, Sukkot, a time of 153 fish. 153 fish. So, the 7 days of Sukkot point us to the 7th day of mankind. A day, Psalm 90, is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is as a day in Yahweh's biblical calendar, his mathematical eternal view. 1,000 days equals 1 human day. So the 7th day is the day of salvation, which brings us into the millennial kingdom, or the Atid Lavo. What happens after the millennial kingdom, or the Atid Lavo? Eternity begins. Are you with me? And what happens in eternity? It's just you and the Lamb. You want feast? The Lamb is your feast. You want a Shabbat? The Lamb is your Shabbat. You want Rosh Chodesh? The Lamb. So until the 8th day starts, or eternity, we're going to be celebrating the feast. But how does the catch of 153 fish tie into Sukkot? That's a tough connection to make, unless you can make it through the Ruach. That's a tough connection to make. Look with me, please, in Yochanan 21 and verse 10. Yochanan 21. Let's even go back further. Let's go back to verse 3. Yochanan 21:3. Sukkot, a time of 153 fish. Shimon Keefa said, I am going fishing. Is this after the resurrection?
Yes.
Yes, it is, after the resurrection. Shimon Keefa says, I am going fishing. They said to him, we are coming with you. Bad move. Yahweh said, Yeshua said, I will take you and make you fishers of men. When I send you and commission you and fill you with my Ruach, and you're my disciples, you will no longer fish, you will fish men. The fact that Keefa went back to his old profession was not right in the eyes of Yeshua. And the Talmidim followed him. They all went back to his old profession. They said to him, we are also coming with you. They went out immediately and entered into the boat. And that night, no kidding, they caught nothing. Why? Because who told them to go back to their old profession? Who told them to go back to their own practice? Who told them to go back to their old ways? They were supposed to leave the old business, the old practice, the old profession behind and go forward. And press forward to the mark of the high calling of Yahweh in the Messiah Yeshua. So who told them to go back and go fishing? So when you go back on Yahweh's plan, Yahweh's will, Yahweh's desire for your life, trust me, you can write it down. You will catch and do nothing for His kingdom. You go back to the church, you can go back there, but trust me, you're going to catch nobody and nothing. You're going to go back to traditional Judaism and celebrate Sukkot without a king. You can celebrate Sukkot, but you can't celebrate it without a king. And the whole purpose of Sukkot is the king will be in Yerushalayim, physically in person, and all nations will bow and worship before him.
Don't mean a thing without the king.
Baruch Hashem Yahweh. So, after they met Yeshua, they went back to their old lifestyle, disobeyed him, they didn't move forward, they went back, and they caught nothing. Certainly not a surprise, is it? Verse 4, but when it came to be early morning, Yahshua stood on the beach. However, the taught ones, the Talmidim, did not know it was Yahshua. Here we go again. Remember the garden?
Yes.
Remember the garden?
Yes.
You were here. If you were here a few weeks ago, you remember the two Adams in the garden. So here the Talmidim did not know it was Yahshua. And Yahshua said in verse 5, B'nai, why did he call them children? Because they were B'nai Yisrael. They were the children of Israel. He said, children, do you have any ochel, any food? They answered him and said, no. Why not? Because they were following Keefa. How much food are you going to get following Keefa? How much food are you going to get following Rabbi Moshe? How much food are you going to get following Brian? Maria's laughing. You ain't going to get a lot of food. To get fed the true spiritual manna and the true riches, you have to follow Yahweh and His Moshiach Yahushua. Okay, and Moshiach in Hebrew means the anointed one. Okay, Mem, Shin, Vav, Chet. The final letter is Chet, pronounced Moshiach. Verse 6, Yahshua said to them, now do it my way. Throw the net on the right side of the boat. Circle those words, right side of the boat. Isn't that true, Ted? He takes you off the wrong side of the boat, gets you back on track, and puts you on the right side.
Amen.
God used to the other side.
And you shall find, you shall find. He didn't tell them what they would find. He just told them they would find. So they drew, and we were no longer able to draw it in because of the large number of fish. Then the tall one whom Yahshua loved, meaning Yochanan the beloved, said to Keefa, oh, it is the master. Then Shimon Keefa, hearing it, that it was the master, realized that it wasn't too cool to be naked in front of Elohim, so he put on some clothes. And he put on his outer garment. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. For he was stripped naked and plunged